kids, they're taught to utilize their imagination and, dream. You can be an astronaut. You could be a dinosaur if you want. But as you get older, you're told, don't dream for silly things. Like, I think that sucks. Because we promote imagination, but as you grow older, you're trained to, you can't achieve, the chances of you being an astronaut, not overly high. You know what I mean?
We're all born idealists, and then we become realists as we get older. And they said that, the children dream, the adults do.
Yeah.
So by the time you become an adult, it's like, whatever you were dreaming, mate, that's it. Yeah. Do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think there's a window of opportunity for that, right? It's kind of like in your late teens, early 20s where you're like, man, I'm either going to become the Top Gun pilot or I'm going to become IT support.
Or both.
Or both. It's
you
time
become Top Gun support.
Top Gun support. But, there's that tipping in the balance, and sometimes life pushes you in a direction that you didn't necessarily dream about. Like myself, I'm a reformed creative, right? So,
you were head of
reformed creative. Do tell.
Wait, you were head of a marketing firm, right? Wellington.
So they were a financial services firm, but I was
still creative,
heading up their Asia Pac internal sort of desktop publishing graphic design team, and managed sort of a couple of teams in. There was one in Sydney, Singapore, Hong Kong.
Oh, so just small stuff.
Just small stuff. But the point being is that, bit by bit, those creative impulses waned and gave way to more sort of, like you put it, pragmatic ways of viewing the world. Yeah. And I don't know if it's maturity or what, but essentially, I think there is a window of opportunity in a person's life where they can reach out and hold on to their creativity that they had as a child and then harness that into some kind of career or way of living as an adult. But there's definitely a door that I felt that closes at some point where it's kind of like you don't. It's not like you feel stupid.
You've missed the boat.
But you've missed the boat. You can't reach into the past and reopen that door. And it's
true.
You kind of have to have some kind of maybe midlife crisis, buy the Ferrari.
That's right.
And then it's like a big reset, and then maybe that door reopens, and you're like, stuff it. I'm going to go do stand-up comedy, or I'm going to go and start a podcast, or whatever you think.
Yeah, that's what do you call it? The midlife crisis thing, and the whole buying a car, but also it's because the kids, all of a sudden, you get to that midlife age, and the kids are all of a sudden, they don't need you for 10 hours a day. They can just,
you're free to explore your own dreams.
Like the kids are like, after like 6 years old, I was warned about this. They were like, they'll come and they'll give you their hugs and everything, but after about 7, you start to become this person that's a bit annoying. And then by 8, my oldest one's almost 8, and it's just like, hey, you want to watch this video? No. Oh, yeah, I'm going to show you this. No. Yeah, I'm going to go over to so-and-so's place. You want to come? No. That's it.
You just slowly get cut out of their life, right?
Like, this is the beginning of teenagers.
They don't have any room, dude. Yeah. It's just online gaming and
But the exemption to the rule is, you want to go to Macca's? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If there's
he'll go to Macca's, but nowhere else.
Exactly. Well, a junkie needs their head.
I tried to show him, what was that movie? Inception. Or a scene in Inception.
I was going to say, putting an 8-year-old into Inception
just
could ruin them for life.
Just to get his to think, what do you think of a dream within a dream? Blah, 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 blah. And he was like, he's watching it, and I'm like, yeah, look at this scene, isn't it amazing? And he's tiptoeing away to watch his, whatever it is. He's got this whole, 20 different shows on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I'm watching his show because I'm like, I'll see if I can enjoy this. No. It's got the like when we were growing up, we had the nicest shows. I grew up with Robotech, right? The Earth exploded, in episode 24 or something. Like the enemy Zentradi, they came and they just blew up the surface of the earth and killed everyone.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there in the Saturday morning like,
That's pretty heavy stuff.
plot twist. But now it's like they've got these characters. They don't hurt each other. The villains don't even do anything. Like there was this villain. I can't remember what he was watching, like Octonauts or something. And the villains came in, and they flew. They could have flown over the castle because they had flying vessels and landed in the middle of the castle. No, they had to land outside the castle.
Walk to the front of the
get
door.
in somehow.
Yeah.
And just as they were about to kill him, and he was about to die, something happened and they just bounced around and everyone laughed. I'm thinking, that just doesn't...
Dude.
There's no conflict.
Doesn't compute.
Why are we even watching this?
Yeah.
And
But,
he's
I
looking
mean,
there going,
the appeal to kids...
Next episode. I'm like, come on.
Go on, Simo. The appeal to kids is...
Well, I mean...
Look, don't get me wrong. Kids need to have a childhood.
Yeah.
They need to be able to dream.
It needs to be interspersed with doses of reality, though, or
Well,
else you wind up
you
with
don't wanna
these
give them,
neutered
like,
adults
you
that
know how-
don't
100%.
understand
Yeah, look,
conflict and don't really
Or
know
they're
how to
forced to.
argue. They
Yeah.
don't know, or it's like a big heavy thing that they stumble into as adolescents, where they're like, oh, like life
Yeah,
isn't
you don't-
like
yeah, you have-
a
you have to-
cartoon.
You have to let them introduce them to that
Yeah,
slowly,
of
right?
course.
Because
The playground, man, School of Hard Knocks, you know.
yeah, if like a parent is no longer available and they have to grow up too fast and they have to deal with stuff, like I've known of people who their parents can't speak English too well and they have to deal with
Centrelink payments.
all this sort of thing, and they grow up real quick and they lose out on their childhood, so that's not such a good thing.
No, I think there's a balance, right?
And maybe people with good childhoods and a good upbringing, they retain that level of imagination. And they might suppress it when they have to do pay the bills and do the jobs. But then when they get the opportunity to do that again, their imagination is still somewhat palpable. And
it's
True.
it remains a force.